The truth is, real estate is not just expensive to buy, it's also expensive to maintain, with all your common areas constantly deteriorating. Ignoring this reality only gives deterioration that much more time to get ahead of you. Whether it's the parking lot, the asphalt, or community pool, it all gets old and wears out. It's only a matter of time before each asset needs to be repaired or replaced, and it all costs money. Fortunately, we're here to help. In this portion of our Reserve Study Basics webinar, we'll address the challenges that you face and introduce you to a mindset that will allow you to have success at your association. Well, thank you, Kali. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Reserve funding should be one of an association's largest budget line items, but all too many boards treat reserve funding as optional. And setting it off to the side like that creates problems for the sustainability of their association when inevitable deterioration-related expenses come due. This webinar is designed to give you a clear understanding of the challenges facing your association, point out what is in a reserve study and how it can help your association, and then we'll give you some key takeaway concepts to help you have enough reserves to be able to accomplish your necessary repair and replacement projects in a timely manner. And that's so you can meet your responsibility to take good care of your association. That's success. So let's get right to today's content. This is the outline for today's program. It all starts with understanding the challenge. Then we'll go into your association's role in addressing that challenge. And I'll turn to reserve study issues themselves before bringing the program to conclusion. It starts out with understanding that living in community itself is a challenge. Something needs to define who does what and how it all works. Associations are divided into common areas and separate spaces. Common areas are those owned and maintained and the maintenance responsibility of the association. The separate spaces are those that are individual home spaces that you take care of yourself. And these are all defined by your governing documents. Individual homeowners rely on the board to do their job, taking care of the common areas, because the homeowners maintain their space and the board takes care of the common areas on behalf of the entire association. That means that the board needs to be diligent because all the common areas are in a constant state of deterioration. They once were new, but they inevitably all get old and worn out. That's just a fact of life on this planet. Mother Nature and Father Time are undefeated, and they don't negotiate. They don't care if your association has a tight budget. They don't care about that kind of thing. Ongoing deterioration is expensive because everything needs to get repaired or replaced. That's a lot of common areas for most associations. It's up to the board to set a budget that keeps up with the ongoing cost of deterioration. So I want to be something real clear with here at the start, as a reserve funding is driven by the ongoing cost of deterioration. Reserve funding is not caused by the reserve study. It's not caused by a conservative board. It's not caused by state laws, and it's not caused by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. The need for reserve funding, the cause of reserve funding, is Mother Nature and Father Time. So if you want to blame someone, blame them. And if your homeowners are starting to blame you, turn that around, deflect that, and tell them to blame Mother Nature and Father Time. All you're doing is paying the bills of the association, which is your job. Okay, this cartoon illustrates a pretty common misconception that reserve funding is about expenses in the future. You can see the homeowners here reacting to a presentation about the roof getting replaced in 20 years, asphalt in 25 years, all these type of future things. And of course, they're reacting and upset because the gentleman speaking doesn't want to set aside reserves because at this point in time, he isn't even buying groceries well in advance, okay? They're thinking like this, that reserve expenses are discrete, separate expenses at scattered points of time in the future. But that's not a true understanding of reserve expenses. Reserve expenses, I've said, is due to Mother Nature and Father Time. And a good illustration is like time passing through an hourglass. just a little bit at a time. And that's how reserve deterioration occurs. A little bit at a time, gradually using up the life of your common area components. So your actual reserve expenses are smooth over the years. Deterioration is consistent and common. Okay? At just the very predictable cost of something that may have a 20-year life, but spread out over 20 years. It doesn't suddenly fail at the end. It's failing every day, every week, every month since it was installed new. Now, another key concept and part of the challenge here is your choice of how you're going to pay. Because, like I've said, deterioration is ongoing. Your choice is between special assessments and loans, catching up to those expenses, or providing the funding on an ongoing basis, budgeted set-asides at the same rate that things are deteriorating. Because the expenses are going to be there. The question is how you're going to react to them. And it certainly looks a lot more attractive in the short term to ignore reserve funding and just say, oh, we'll deal with it in the future. Maybe it will special assess, maybe we'll take out a loan, but have it be something that they defer on forward. But I need to make this concept very clear that deterioration is ongoing, and the most appropriate way to deal with deterioration, reserve funding, is through budgeted funding. That way everyone pays their fair share over time. Okay, another big picture idea. Association leadership. The boards and the managers, they're responsible to care for the association and nurture it forward. And the homeowners are reliant on the board and management doing their job so that their homes get well taken care of. They're sitting on the side over on the right saying, okay, we're expecting you're taking care of our roof. We're expecting you're taking care of the asphalt. We're expecting you're getting the gate repaired at the right time. They're reliant on the board and management doing their part. So it is this combination of people doing their role, but there's another weak link. And the weak link is that all these community associations all across the country, about 375,000 of them, they're nonprofit entities. Each one consists of millions of dollars of home values, but they're relying on the education, the courage, the care, the commitment of untrained volunteer board of directors to run the show, to make those decisions. And with this kind of delicate situation where we have multi-million-dollar not-for-profit real estate corporations run by an untrained volunteer board of directors, there's no surprise that things do go wrong. And there's challenges left and right. And the challenge often means that the board makes the mistake of not collecting enough cash. Too many boards are running their associations out of money or attempting to operate their multi-million-dollar nonprofit real estate corporation just on fumes. And that's not a successful strategy. And that creates a situation where special assessments are common, the homeowners are regularly upset, home values lag the market, and perhaps even safety concerns like we saw with the tragic collapse of Champlain Tower South a little bit over 3 years ago. When you don't have the funds to take good care of the common areas, bad things happen. That's what I want to underline here in the early part of this webinar. And that's why I'm glad you've joined me for this program today. So you can clearly see the challenges in front of you and then start to appreciate what the path to the future is going to start to look like. At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.